I want to go to John Howard's warning about what you call this breathing space, and just a note to our viewers that John Howard will be on later tonight with Andrew Bolt, so don't miss that. John Howard speaking with Andrew Bolt tonight. But John Howard has said that the longer the parties stay apart from a coalition, the more they could grow apart. And you can see that happening so easily if the Liberals, for instance, stick with net zero and take a backward step on nuclear, and the Nationals renege on net zero and go full on for nuclear, then suddenly on the key policy divide, your parties will get further apart and the coalition will be much harder to put together again.
But Chris, that recognises where Australians are at. You have to remember that our energy system is currently broken. We took nuclear to the electorate at the last stage. Why? Because most modern economies have nuclear as part of their industrial and manufacturing energy backbone. But equally, because the National Party was the party in the constituencies that were being asked to carry the burden for Labor's solar and wind only plan. They were the ones who were going to have the 28,000 kilometres of poles and wires erected through their farmland. Yep. It makes perfect sense that that is an article of faith now for the National Party. But we have to recognise the boat we got in the metropolitan areas, and we don't make our way back to government unless we win some of those seats back. So we have to understand how important was nuclear in that outcome and what we can craft going forward as a platform that will bring Australians of both the rural areas, the regional areas and the metropolitan areas to the coalition.
Lots of water yet to go under the bridge. Just briefly, your reaction to the interest rate cut. The Labor will say this is their economic management coming to fruition.
They're acting like people aren't doing it tough anymore. Honestly, it's like they won an election, they got a huge number of seats, and everything's rainbows again. Let me tell you, it's not rainbows in my electorate. I scoured the Victorian budget papers today to see anything for the Southern Mornington Peninsula. Absolutely nothing. No fixes for the Rosebud Hospital. No fixes for our roads down here. People are still doing it tough. Businesses are still closing. We've still had more than 30,000 businesses close in the last government term. And it will continue to be a challenging set of circumstances. So I'm sure Jim Chalmers is having a great time patting himself on the back for today's one increment in the right direction. But we've got a long way to go before there's confidence in business circles and an ability for businesses to keep growing and keep employing and keep providing opportunity for Australians.
Zoe, thanks for joining us. Zoe McKenzie there, the Liberal MP.